welcome, welcome, welcome to another beautiful Artsy Thursday right here on the Wake Up Nigeria show. How are you?
I am doing good, and we are so thrilled. We're so pumped to be here today. It's another Thursday, the day we respect and we honor the god of thunder, Thor.
Really?
That's the origin. That's the origin. Thor, Thursday.
Thursday. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Good morning,
Didn't know
everyone.
that. Didn't know that.
It's Thursday, January 9th, and we are back with another fantastic episode of Wake Up Nigeria. You know how we do it. We give you all the vibes, the amazing highlights, and the lineup that you do not want to miss.
Absolutely, guys. Thursday are always special because we keep it creative, insightful, and full of surprises. Plus, it's our, they say life is a form of art. So you express yourself in different forms, in different ways, even in the way you dress.
So whether you're up and about or you're just easing into the day, stay tuned because we have so much to give you, keep you entertained. You would love this one.
Yeah, and of course we've got Mary lurking around somewhere, well, I think she'll join us later on. But guys, my name is Emil Kwache.
And my name is Edgar Ariaka. Now, welcome to Wake Up Nigeria.
As always, guys, you can also always watch us from anywhere in the world. Just head to our website on TVC or at tvcentertainment.tv. And of course, we are across all social media platforms. Just use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC to keep in touch with us. Send in those comments. We want to hear from you.
Yes, please use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC to join the conversation. We would like to be a part of your journey as well. We'd like to know what you think about my dress and the colors.
I love it though.
You love the colors.
It's given it also really represents or reflects today on the show, which is arts.
Yes.
I see different patterns. It's giving those artsy vibes. Absolutely.
Now, speaking of arts, I also love this. I don't know what you call this, but I love what you wear.
It's creativity.
This is creativity. Wow. Wow.
Thank you so much, Edgar. But
Yes.
remember, guys, you can also watch us. We are on GOTV channel 16 and UHF channel 49. And let's dive into what we have right here on the show for you today. And finally, Calista Chioma Chikwendu is a passionate and skilled content creator with a background in information technology. Her training programs are inspiring, and she'll be joining us to share her journey with us as a content creator. But really, I feel like this week has really been slow.
It's January. What do you expect? January is the only month in the year that has about 7 to 8 different weeks.
I feel like it's like 365 days in 1 month.
It's the month. It's the time.
I saw a video of someone who was crying about how this year has been really terrible for her and all. She can't believe it's just 6 months into the year, and then someone in the background shouted, "It's just the first week," and then she freaked out. And I'm like, people need to just embrace the year as it comes.
Right.
I've always thought, for me, my new year starts on my birthday. That's always been me. However, the reality is, everybody's new year is actually
in the beginning of
the first day of the year,
Yeah.
even if your birthday was on the 30th of December or 31st. So you just expect the best.
I think my debt to December just started.
Your
debt to
own
December
debt
just
to
started.
December started in January.
It's
My debt to
obvious now.
December
I mean, what
started.
you're wearing, it's obvious that it
Okay.
just
It
started.
actually started this month because I
wow.
didn't really get to have as much fun as I really wanted to. And then I traveled. And even on the trip, I really didn't have as much fun as I wanted to because I had so much plans for December. But so, yeah, my debt to December just started.
So how dirty has it been?
Oh, it's been dirty. Yesterday. Yesterday I went for, I remember 2 days ago we had this jazz musician on the show, Ola Egbawon. So yesterday he had a classical concert. And I went for it. It was beautiful. Listening to, I'm such an old soul when it comes to music.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, there was good old school music.
There's
there's
classes to old school. Though.
Oh, it was.
How old is this school you're
Like what
talking
era?
about? Because
so I would say the 80s and 90s.
is that old? Oh, that's old school.
That's old, darling. No. I think that's too.
That's
too
that's
deep.
ancient now.
Yeah, that's too.
What are you talking about? That's
Celebrate
see his face. Is his face for me
Come
like?
on. Yeah, you can use that to start off the birthday segment. The birthday shout out.
But you know, is that old?
And this brings me to the way music is being handled these days, especially the remakes, the samples.
Yeah.
It's really amazing to hear a song like Jolene being remade into something else, or Eiffel Towers, Blue Double D being made into that song by David Guetta and Vera
I think that's the new trend.
Yeah,
these days. So
and
what
even
people
locally.
do, they just sample old songs and then give it new lyrics and all the rest.
So
it's cool.
it was a beautiful gathering. Of course, it didn't have it had more of the, elderly people in the, because I mean that's their genre. So it was Afro soul with a fusion of jazz, contemporary music.
Nice.
It was a beautiful setup, and there was good food and drinks. Well, you have to pay for it.
She's not had enough of this.
My time.
No, you actually did it
my
because
time.
I also actually I spent it with friends, right?
nice.
So it was such a beautiful,
Yeah,
I mean,
my
gathering.
type
I
of
didn't want it to
music
end.
is actually rap.
Rap.
I like hip hop. I like rap. I like yeah. What's up?
That's
Yo,
all.
man, what's up?
Oh yeah, drop a bar now.
Hell yeah.
Drop it. Drop
All right.
it like it's ours.
Give me the beat. My name is Edgar. I'm the fine boy.
Are you fine?
I don't understand.
It's
It's
my
not
rap
fine.
now. It's not my rap.
And
It's
even
my
at
rap
that, you don't want Shemem,
now. It is my rap. It is my rap. It is.
Don't mind.
Watch out for my album,
don't
guys.
mind that.
Watch
but
out
really,
for my
some of these
album.
remakes are crap. Oh.
Yes.
Just like this.
Don't use the word crap.
Let me use the word.
Just say you don't like the style.
What do you
Don't say
mean?
crap.
How can you ruin an epic song? A song that was actually sung for apartheid ending in South Africa.
Wait, are you calling?
And then
I will not stand you call Davido's
I did
song.
not call
That is
Davido. You are the one that called it. Oh. Me, I did not call anybody. Oh. My money.
No, that was a good song now. I will not agree.
It was
No,
what?
that was a good song. That was a good song. That was a good
Well,
mix.
to be honest, I feel like some musicians and not some artists that call them not musicians because they're musicians and then they're artists.
Yeah.
But I feel like we really need to. I think 2025 should be the year we do better when it comes to music.
Lyrically,
Please, I beg you,
especially.
people, in the name of God.
Yes.
I'm begging, please.
Yes.
We really need to go back to what music really used to be. Music used to be a therapy. It used to be therapeutic. It used to be a mode for healing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
you
that's
can't
why-
blame them. There's a
Healing this
market
year.
for what they sell.
See that market?
There's a market. You listen to World, you listen to certain artists, even some that sound in quotes worldly, but they still make a lot of sense with the stuff they sing. Look at Loje's Mona Lisa, for example. So it's just it's just different. It depends on the artist.
All right, guys. That is all that we can take at this point. Please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Thanks for staying with us, people. I hope you're having fun. Well, if you're not, all right.
Are you threatening them?
I don't know. Is
Are you threatening them?
so?
Of course, you guys are
Well,
having
we'll
fun.
excuse her. She said her dirty December is very dirty, so it's
Yes.
probably getting her
Oh,
thoughts
yeah.
and her words.
Yes, so there's
Let's
this
just
viral video, guys, yesterday. It was a really, really, really touching one.
Okay.
It was a video of, well, school has resumed, as we all know.
Yeah.
And it was a video of a teacher. So from reports, it says it's happened in a particular school in Ikorodu. I wouldn't want to mention the name of the school. But she was in class. It was a class scenario. And then there was a teacher who kept on slapping to be precise, this young boy because he was unable to write the number 6. He kept on struggling, and for every time that he struggled, she kept slapping him. Now, this caused an uproar because of the animosity, the anger, the energy at which he used in inflicting such pain on this boy repeatedly. And then people were like, nah. So what are your thoughts, guys?
All right, so let me quickly share mine. First of all, I am in no way, shape, or form in support of violence as a form of
Corrective
measure for children.
Yeah.
I do not think that children need to be slapped or, beat in any form. Because, I mean, growing up, my teachers in school used different things to deal with me. Do you get what I'm saying? They've used belt, they've used shoe, they've used hand. So I understand what happens to a child.
In primary or secondary school?
Secondary school.
Okay.
So I understand what could happen. As a matter of fact, that style is fading off gradually. So to hear something like that happen today is really alarming. I feel that it is also wrong. And I feel that teachers should go through proper training. A lot of teachers don't have that training on how to correct children.
Yeah.
I've seen schools where they, speak to children and try to understand the child first before you even,
have any sort of
yes.
communication
I also would like to say that it is okay to have a little pat. I call it pat, all right? It is
like
okay.
a little spank here and
yeah,
there.
just a little. I don't want to call it spanking because people have my palm. Some people's palm, if they spank you with palm alone, depending on the texture of the palm, spanking may come in different forms. But I'm saying a little patting on the back.
I really can't wait to hear what Mary has to say about this.
Mary's,
The way she has been
So, on the one hand, we have the famous saying, spare the rod, spoil the child. And I dare say that saying is the reason so many people have done crazy things in the name of raising their child or their pupils or their students' rights. The rod isn't always a rod, like literal. We all know that so many of these quotes and sayings had to do with, figurative
symbols.
speech and symbols as well. Unfortunately, this one is one that many people have taken literally. But let's even put that aside. 3-year-old. I mean, a 3-year-old boy, not knowing how to write 6, got slapped that hard. So when he is 5 and he cannot write his 3-letter words, what's going to happen? He'll get tied to a
that is slap and knock.
rotating
Slap
fan.
and knock.
It's not slap and knock. See, if someone ever did that to my child, no, look, everybody, man. Because, I mean, a 3-year-old,
So
if you took the rod, and you hit a 9-year-old, I'll be upset, but I'll say, okay, you're teaching that child. Because the truth is, no mother can tolerate her child being flogged. No parents even, generally.
Yeah.
You might pretend, oh, you're training but inside you're hurt. There's actually even a Yoruba saying towards that about hit my child or beat my child for me. It's not something that is really, ingrained or coming from the heart of a parent. And that's the truth. So you will hit that child in the name of training the child. If you do that, I don't know about it. That's fine. But a 3-year-old, I mean, a 3-year-old. So, and many parents these days are sending their children to school too early because of work, and also because if you don't do that, that child will struggle to catch up.
True.
Because so many other children are already in school. So when you take your 5-year-old to school, and then they take your child to creche because the child is at creche level, unless maybe the child is exposed to a level on YouTube.
So there are different areas of this
choice.
conversation that I would like to talk about, but I'm hoping that I'm able to cover everything within the short period. First off, talking about sparing the rod and spoiling the child. Whose responsibility is it to spare the rod and spoil the child? Is it the teacher's responsibility? Is it the school's responsibility? Is it the parent's responsibility? Is it society's responsibility? Is it uncles and aunties' responsibility? Whose responsibility is it?
But
I know that back in the day,
it's everyone's. It's
I agree with you. It is everybody. But now, let's now focus on the role of everybody in the place of a child, because everyone has a role to play. Now, in the place of spanking, not sparing the rod, there are people that from their own childhood traumas, they are still dealing with the rods that were not spared to them.
Facts.
They will now use that same rod on you, the parents that has decided to take another direction in sparing the rod and not spoiling your child. In a case where you are giving tough love, you are, you know, as much as you are spanking the child in a place of love, it's coming from a place of love. You are also bringing them close to you and, you know, helping them, supporting them, encouraging them. Other than from a place where a teacher is coming from, maybe she's dealing with domestic violence in her marriage.
You went to meet the
She's dealing with different issues in
you
her
went to meet the
her
school
home.
owner for
You
increase
now
in
come
salary.
to the
The owner
school.
said no.
You are now projecting on my own child. I will project back at you because I don't think in that regard it is in your place to be not sparing the rod on my child, especially when it is not coming from a place of love.
She says she loves the boy.
She did not.
She says he's my son.
So if that boy
I'm
did
trying to
something
raise
wrong,
him
now let's
right.
look at the action here.
Yes,
Let's
he
look at
couldn't write 6.
He did not commit a crime. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't steal. He didn't bully a child. He was just struggling to write the letter 6. What is your place or what is your role as a teacher in that child's lives? There are some teachers in our time during our educational whatever that have made strong impacts, even to the point where till tomorrow we will never forget them because of how the role they played, especially in teaching us how, you know, there are so many difficult subjects that we had problems with. I will never forget this particular teacher, Mrs. Edogo, from my primary school. And then for my secondary school, my physics teacher, I can't remember his name right now, but my biology teacher.
I bet if I call my teacher's name. I bet.
Right.
I will not mention anybody's name here.
So you have not taught that child. Instead, you have left that child in a more traumatic state. He will never forget that slap. That slap will definitely maybe give him pain.
He will
A
forget the slap.
3-year-old.
You will forget the slap.
No,
but
I mean
guess
for
what?
the rest of that day.
What's
the
that?
pain
The impact of that
affected in
slap
child.
is what we don't
Guys,
know. That kind of slap on a 3-year-old could damage his
Damage
ears.
his ears.
You
his
see, when
brain.
you were talking about everything, all I could think of was we are talking about a 3-year-old, not a 10-year-old or even a 15-year-old. A 3-year-old. The child cannot write 6. That's on you, Miss Teacher.
So see,
obviously you
point,
didn't teach it right.
I
And
know
then
that
the child
not
might
every
also be
school.
struggling with learning. Do we know what the child's issues might be?
Disabilities could be. Do you understand?
Just
I really need
before-
to say this before we wrap this up because I know we need to go. But then I feel like this is a cry for help for schools to begin to. If you maybe need to do some sort of evaluation, maybe psychological evaluation or some sort of mental evaluation or whatever, with physical education evaluation on your employees before you employ them, then do it, because we are talking about children here. And I think it is time that we began to look deeply, inwardly, into the kind of adults we want to be raising.
All right, guys. Thank you.
A 3-year-old.
Thank you so much for that one. I mean, it's a very interesting topic, but we can't stay here already. Please, guys, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere before I get slapped.
In Africa. All right, guys, it's so good to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So when you hear tech revolution in Africa, some people are like, really? And I'm like, people don't know that a lot has happened when it comes to technology in Africa. There's this assumption that it's still a Western thing. Is it possible for you to share light on this?
Well, looking at the African tech ecosystem, a lot has happened. Looking at the past decade and what's going on currently, there's a lot of technology penetration.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of sector development. You look at the fintech, look at the agri-tech, and a lot of sectors are being revolutionized by tech. And that's the reason why we're here. So a lot is happening in that sector, just to summarize it.
So when we talk about revolution in Africa in general, I tend to not want to talk about Nigeria alone because I always feel like when we talk about Nigeria alone, it seems limiting. But Africa as a whole, what tech revolutions have been really massive, especially in the last 5 years?
All right, so within the last 5 years, you're asking about tech trends.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple trends that are on the rise. For example, there's AI, artificial intelligence, there's IoT, Internet of Things, there's 5G, there's mixed reality, for example. And what we are trying to say is that while these trends are happening globally, Africa should not be left behind. Nigeria, where we're in right now, should not be left behind. West Africa, East Africa. In East Africa, for example, we have hubs like Rwanda, Kenya, South Africa, for example, as well, and that are just growing and rising and taking the trends. And so West Africa, Nigeria, which is a leader in West Africa, should not be left behind. And that's what Tech Revolution Africa is about.
So let's talk about the tech space now, bringing it home to Nigeria. What influences have you had personally in the tech space in Nigeria?
So over the past couple of years, myself and Glory have played real big in the tech talent space. So we currently run a training and mentorship academy where we take these talents raw and we train them and mentor them through trending tech courses, short-form trending tech courses, like you mentioned, AI, cybersecurity, digital marketing, data analysis. And over the past couple of years, specifically 2 years, we've trained more than 4,000 talents.
That's impressive.
And we've partnered with international organizations to do that, and even local organizations to do that. And not just trainings, because of course, when you train these talents, the next thing is they need to get out and sort things out for themselves. But we train them and we mentor them, right? While giving them the opportunity to connect with industries where they can leverage what they've learned in the academy during the mentorship program. And it's more like a full cycle development, not just a training program. So that's what we've done in the past couple of years. You want to shed more light on what maybe I've missed so far?
Yeah, so I mean, full cycle, you come in knowing nothing about tech, we train you. The mentorship part is where we get established professionals and companies already to come show you the intern house, right? And from there, we place you in a job, internship, right? And from there, you can grow your experience and build solutions.
So I'm really interested in the training part. Now, you talked about the partnerships that you've had trying to pull this off. Does it mean that how then do you get remuneration from this? Say, for example, when people are getting trained, there's usually something like a payment. Is it gratuitous? Is it completely free? Maybe something you're giving back to society, or something that even if it's not free, it's heavily subsidized. Please tell me more about that.
So it's really interesting because we've trained for free. Wow. Absolutely free, 100% free.
4,000 people?
Yes, over 4,000 people.
That's a lot.
Yes, trained for free. And because we did that in partnership with international organizations and they paid, upfront for the training of Nigerians. Now, these trainings are done both physically and online, so hybrid training processes. And the facility is provided for them. They get to access these technologies. They get to interact with it full time. And not just trainings like I mentioned. So they are also put into projects. It's one thing, especially in tech, to be trained. And it's yet another thing to build your portfolio and to demonstrate that you are capable of delivering whatever it is you've learned so far. So the trainings, just to reiterate, were done for absolutely free. And to some of them were done highly subsidized. I mean, if you want to go up front to pay for these courses, you pay huge sums. But in our training and mentorship academy, they are fully and highly subsidized.
So I find something also really interesting about this. The fact that over 4,000 people are being empowered. Now, the fact that you give it to them at highly subsidized or free, depending on what kind of course, are they also mandated to pay it forward? Or it's something that probably just ends with them? Because sometimes some of these trainings, you're required to pay it forward, teach some other people and stuff. Is that the same thing?
Right. So when we place you, for example, in a company, you will be required to pay for it, but not in monetary terms. We are not just training people, we are building people of value.
Yes.
And so chances have been taken on you, and you've gotten to learn this for free or at a subsidized rate. Go into that company, build value, build solutions, right? And as you grow in scale, come back and mentor others. And it's something that has led to Tech Revolution Africa. For example, we discovered that when we train and mentor these guys and put them in companies, we noticed there's still that gap between them and the leadership. And so we said, why not have a conference? Let's bring leadership of some of the biggest, most innovative companies in Africa, right? As well as these tech talents. Let's put them in the room. Let them get to see and hear stories that will motivate them. Persons who 20, 25 years back were just like them, newbie talents, but have gone on to build like $1 million, billion-dollar companies, right? So it's a full circle, just plugging into the talent space, ensuring that
you
we
have one of such conferences coming up.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
what's it about?
So Tech Revolution Africa is a platform where, like he said, leaders in the tech ecosystem, these are guys who have done great, tremendous things over the past couple of years, are in the same room with innovators and the talents, the brightest emerging talents in Africa. And over the 2 days of the conference, they get to connect, they get to share experiences, they get to get inspired to go into the next phase of revolution. Now, I want to talk about something really interesting, which is the talent ecosystem in Nigeria. If you notice, there's a lot of talent drain. We call it jackpot. You know, a lot of people learn, get their degree, and then they get out of the country. But we are trying to say, hey, there is a lot more to gain here in Nigeria. There is a lot more to, you know,
it's a fertile ground.
Exactly. There's a lot more that these talents can, you know, explore in this country. And, you know, when you find yourself in a country like Nigeria, you find as much as there are challenges, there are great opportunities that these talents can plug into. So that's what we're saying at Tech Revolution Africa. You know what? Come over the next 2 days at the venue of the conference and get to hear these leaders firsthand. Be in the same room. I mean, it will interest you that to access some of these leaders, you have to maybe fill a form, wait over 2 weeks.
Yeah,
but
sometimes longer.
Exactly, longer. But in one of our pre-event activities, you could literally walk into one of the 1% of the 1% CIO's office as a talent. And that's what we're saying Tech Revolution Africa is, is going to do. It's going to, you know,
so if I, as a talent, looking at, you know, watching you guys right now, would like to be a part of it, what do I need to do?
You go to the website straight up, www.techrevolutionafrica.org. You get all the details there. Like he said, we're bringing the top 1% of the 1% of the 1% tech companies there. And this is a level playing field for talents and innovators.
Yep, pretty much go to the website and sign up and be a part. It's going to be exciting. 2 days.
All right.
Fun.
Anything tech, I'm always interested because many people probably are sleeping on it, but tech is the future, literally, because tech is something that is needed in every industry, no matter the industry. Really, guys, thank you so much for your time. It's been quite an interesting conversation. Thank you indeed.
Thank you.
At this point, we've reached the top of the hour, and of course, we have 45 minutes left on the show. Make sure you stay with us. We'll be back in a bit. You're watching Wake Up Nigeria.
Welcome back to Wake Up Nigeria. If you're just joining us, good morning and happy Thursday.
Yes, guys. We're keeping the positive vibes rolling, as you can see, and well, keeping all the motivation and all the creativity and the inspiration going. That tech conversation earlier was quite inspiring.
Yes, it was inspiring, and also the music that we had was amazing. It was phenomenal.
Yes, if you missed out on the first hour, well, the second half, we're still here to, you know, so you haven't missed so much. Don't worry, we've got you.
So whether you're home, you're on your way out, you're relaxing on your bed, or you're just keeping company with friends, this is the best breakfast show you would ever watch on TV.
Yes, my name is Emil Kocha.
And my name is Edgar Ariaka.
Don't forget, guys, that you can also watch us live at tvcentertainment.tv on our website.
Or you can tune in on GOTV channel 16 and UHF band 49.
We need you to also connect with us, people, on all our socials, Instagram, X, Facebook, and on TikTok. We are at tvcentertainment_.
You can also use the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC to share your thoughts and let us know how you're spending your Thursday.
We, of course, have Mary in the kitchen. Unfortunately, we don't have our chef in today.
So I'm just pretending I'm whipping up something for breakfast.
Right.
It takes me back to my childhood where you pretend. So I'm playing pretend here. You guys go ahead.
What was your pretend meal?
The regular now. You make rice, a lot of rice, pap sometimes. Wow, you just brought back memories. Oh,
Well, it's Throwback Thursday, so we are allowed to share some really good memories here on the show. But let's dive right into what we have left for this half of the show. For Book Chat, we have Austin Okpore. He's here to talk about his compelling book, The Field of Boaz. Of course, we still have another musical performance by Pethwell. That was a beautiful rendition earlier on.
Yes, she also said she had an EP coming up this year.
You know, I love it. I like to hear when people already have plans set in motion in the beginning of the year. Like, it's giving me motivation,
Well,
even
it's
though I
one
don't
thing to have plans. It's another thing to be able to pull it off. And this brings me to something a musician recently said. I'm talking about this guy that's Spyro. And he talked about the fact that he spends 15 million naira on average per year just for going out. So he has to give out 100,000 naira on average per day. Say he goes out 3 times a week. When you put it all together, he's spending over 15 million naira just on Omokpe, do something for us because he is famous. And so he's wondering, how do celebrities survive? How do they cope in Nigeria, especially in Lagos, being harassed every time, you know, people demanding stuff from them. And the truth is, if it's to even get personal security for that 15 million naira, it will not cover it. So at the end of the day, it's actually...
Well, I think it's all about the branding of the content creator. There are creatives that have branded themselves as wealthy people. And when you get to see them, you can tell that, okay, this person has money because of the branding. Then there are some people that have branded themselves as people that do not have so much, and their stories are always about how they're struggling, how they're about making it. Even
like,
if you have
don't
a
mess
lot,
with me kind of
yeah.
thing.
So even if they have money, you won't be able to tell, because with their story and with their branding,
but
you
then
can't
again,
really tell.
for the music artists, not them start them now.
Yes, no, music artists, when you're in a video and then you already have champagne,
Exactly.
you have
When
women,
you're,
you have money,
you're not
you have
even,
cars.
and the
What do
money
you
you're
expect?
even spending in the music video is not even
Yeah,
naira.
then you're throwing like
They're
bundles.
dollars.
You're throwing bundles of
Foreign
dollars.
currencies.
I mean,
So what is expected?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the people on the street
It is
should feel
perception,
entitled.
Mary.
Yes.
It is perception.
That's what they sell. Yes, I agree.
It is
However, it
perception.
doesn't mean that they have it.
Okay, are you going to tell everybody that you meet, oh, because I'm on Nigerian television doesn't mean that I don't
It's
have
not
it.
television.
Look at you.
yes,
looking
now, I
all
mean-
glam. Yes, it's the truth. Now look at you.
No, me,
looking
I've never
all
hidden
glam.
it. So forget the glam. Edgar, remember what we wanted to do?
Yeah, but then is it everybody that watches us on TV?
Let me shock you.
That knows that.
I'll always look at Kanayo with the 11 left eye. Even if I know that he's just acting those roles, those occultic roles, I will still look at him like, or see Patient Ozokwo, you know, with all the roles where she has played as wicked, as evil, and she's a master in that art. If I'm in the same room, if I'm in the same room with her, I will still give her that space like, I don't know what
perception aside. Okay, so the thing is this, I actually worry for this because I take a lot of public transport, so I can totally understand when I get on a bus sometimes and people on the bus expect me to pay their fare, believing that I have more money somewhere. It's especially if it's not on a bad day when I don't even have much cash. And so those little things, I feel people shouldn't, the way I knew celebrities to be before, people always wanted to do stuff for them, you know, buy them stuff. But now people believe, you have too much, you should share.
And then that is also on them. I still go back, it's still on them, because there's also so much information that they are constantly
they should
sharing
not
on
be-
their socials.
Yeah.
I got paid
Too
$1
much-
billion for a performance.
Too much information.
True.
Too much
That's
information.
social media
And then you're not
scourge.
protecting your space, you're not preserving your mental health, and then tomorrow when you're being badgered by people, you now say, I don't
think
get it. Was I not in
yeah.
my own house on the phone? Scrolling through,
Yeah. When
you
I
now
saw
decided
that.
to
When
give
you
me
posted-
information
when you posted
about
your new
yourself.
house.
Do you know what
When
is
you posted
happening
your new
in my
car.
own house, in my own space, what I am doing? Nobody knows. So if people would be privy to information that you put out there. So if they are badgering you, if they are which of course for Spyro, it's also based on personalities, right? Because there are people, remember, there are also people pleasers. There are people who also want to prove that, yes, you know, I want people to know that I have by giving, even to the point where they run themselves down, to the point where they are broke.
Yeah.
So you shared a video. Now in that video, someone was asking him for money. And then when he said, well, I don't have, like, this is a new year, I'm not going to be doing all this, the person started insulting him. And so it also came from a place of, is it that people are entitled to someone else's wealth, so to speak, and all. But
If people are entitled, you cut them off.
how do you cut them off
You use
on the street?
scissors to cut.
How do I cut it for windscreen, baby?
It's very simple. If family
People
members
that
are
you see on
harassing,
the road. No, we are not talking of family members.
Even
We're talking of louts.
Yeah.
You know,
I
people
don't- I
is
don't-
just
But I
driving
think
out.
I think there
I don't
I think there are a couple of
understand.
slams.
Did they hold your car or did they block it?
Yes,
did they use
they block
something to hold
it.
the
Human
tire?
shield.
You move.
You say?
You move.
I'm not a part of this conversation.
Yeah.
I think at this point, we should just take a break because is dirty, she's dirty.
She's already showing us
And
scissors.
She's already
You
showing
cut.
us something
You
else.
cut.
You cut. Director, cut.
Director, cut.
Move on, cut.
And we are back. Thanks for staying with us. It's time for a book chat segment this morning, and we have with us Austin Okporo. He's here to talk about his book, The Field of Boaz. A tale of a broken past, redemption, and discovering God's will for marriage. Good morning.
Good morning.
Such a pleasure to have you here.
I'm here too.
Your book is quite a revelation, I'd say.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that.
It is. And, you know, reading through the first few chapters of the book,
Yeah.
I'm like, I really want to meet this person because
Wow.
we live in a climate where men do not share. Men are not vulnerable, even with their partners. And here you are, you know, giving every part of yourself in this book. What inspired it?
Well, thank you. I was inspired by exactly what you said. A lot of men never share their past. A lot of men are afraid of even expressing what they've been through because they feel maybe somebody's going to bully them, somebody's going to look down or talk down at them, or judge them, and what have you. For me, I know quite well that the beginning of my marriage would have to do with my vulnerability because I was sexually molested at the age of 7, all right? And from there, I went on to be a sex addict until I was 19 when I encountered the Lord. So all of the stories from the ages of 7 to 19, if I don't unpack it, I'm going to have problems in my marriage. If I don't unpack everything I've been through, I know that it will be difficult for me to enjoy my home. And again, the second reason was because I was also coming from a broken home, all right? A broken home where I didn't see a perfect example at that time. Though my parents went on to become a great example in their later years, but the first 20 to 30 years of being with them, I will say that I needed to walk my own path. And to walk my own path, I will have to tell my story to the lady I wanted to get married to. So I'm sharing my story because it's important for men to be more vulnerable when it comes to issues about our past.
So I'll come back later to why you decided to use Boaz as your as the story, as the fiction character here, as the character you wanted to, you know, use in telling more of your story and also making such a strong impact. But let's talk about how you transition, how you turned your life around, the new lifestyle, you call it in this particular chapter. And here you referenced the 1 Timothy 1, verse 15 to 16. So let's talk about that quickly.
Yeah. So, you know, it's a journey of transformation.
Yeah.
And in our journey of transformation, we all have different pathways to achieve transformation. But for me, the scriptures, my view was the scriptures. And it said, be an example of the believer in conduct, all right, in speech, in purity, and in every aspect of our life. So the first thing I did was to give myself to the word. I allowed the word to seep through my soul. I allowed the word to seep through my mind. And every time the word came into my mind, I wasn't judged. I didn't feel judged. Instead, I feel motivated and encouraged to take steps towards the things I was reading. Now, I was a gangster, all right? I was a bully. I was a fighter. So for me, in fact, let me tell you something. When I gave my life to Christ, that very week, I went out to share tracks, and somebody was beating the other guy with me. I had to drop the tracks and the bucket, and I started beating that person up, and he started bleeding. When my pastor saw, he said, "You still fight?" I said, "They were beating this guy." You know, so that's to tell you that I was on a journey. But I just stayed at it. And by the time I was like 10 years old in the Lord, I began to see the effect of those changes. And I must say here, because a lot of people think that when we talk about transformation, it's automatic.
Yeah.
Sincerely speaking, transformation is a process.
It's like, it's not a light switch.
No, it's not a light switch. What takes some people 2 years might take you 5 years, all right? But just be on that journey. So for me, that was how I began to experience changes, transformation here and there. And before you know it, I can say that some things are forever gone, never to come back in my life again.
While going through your book, there was a particular chapter that resonated with me. Catalyst for Freedom.
Oh my.
Restitution, forgiveness, and reconciliation.
I know you would touch it.
Yes, I would, because it's a big problem that a lot of us really do not acknowledge, and that is unforgiveness. And that is unforgiveness even with ourselves, because most of the time, or all the time, even every single day, we do things that maybe sometimes even contradict our values, contradict our principles, that do not align with the things that we want to become. And then we become very hard on ourselves. And we begin to subtly even punish ourselves. And thereby punishing our partners, punishing our children, and then punishing even the society. Even in the little ways, we don't know the kind of effect
even your
this thing
immediate
has.
environment and colleagues.
Exactly. So let's touch quickly on the role of forgiving, how important it is to forgive, forgive yourself.
Sincerely speaking, the role of forgiveness is, words cannot even quantify it. The first thing is, you must trust God to forgive yourself. I'll tell you something. I lost my mom a couple of, just a year ago, and I battled with unforgiveness.
Sorry about
now,
that.
the unforgiveness was not for others. I just couldn't forgive myself. I started feeling that, oh, if only I had done this, if I had done that, if I had done this. And I was just sucking in pain, until my wife said to me, "Will you deliver yourself from this pain?" We spent money, we did everything, but I still couldn't express
how you were feeling,
how I was feeling, until my wife picked it and said, "Will you just snap out of this?" All right? So when we talk about forgiveness, the first thing is, you must know that there is a God that forgives. God is merciful. With him is plenteous of mercy and redemption. So once you know that there is the God that forgives, don't let no one bully you into feeling bad for what you have done. Once there is this God that forgives, the next thing is yourself. If you can, in fact, let me put it this way. Not accepting forgiveness shows that you are proud. And not accepting the fact that God has forgiven you and you are not willing to forgive yourself shows that something fundamental is wrong with your person. Because once God forgives, he forgets. You are the one that remembers. But the moment you say, "Lord, forgive me," and even if you don't hear an answer, the moment you say, "Lord, forgive me," you have restituted that position and it's forgiven you.
Let's move on from there. If you want to learn more about that, I think you should go get the book Field of Boaz, right? Because it's a review. We're not, it is a review. But quickly, let's touch on Boaz, the character here that you decided to, build your story around. The Field of Boaz. Why Boaz?
Yes, Boaz, because number one, Boaz is, in this context, a Jew. And as a Jew, he's not supposed to marry someone that is an outcast or an outsider. All right? So Boaz decided to go for this woman called Ruth. Number two, Boaz is wealthy. And we saw the generosity of Boaz when Ruth appeared in the field. He said, "Don't just give her handout. Deliberately leave some of my best crops for her,
yeah.
to be able to harvest. Number 3, you would notice that at night, Boaz was sleeping and Ruth was around his skirt. And he woke up and he said, what's going on here? He didn't call her my girlfriend. He called her my sister, my daughter. So a man like that already gave us an entry point into how family life should be looked into. Number 5, the reason is because oftentimes most of us look at the story of Field of Boaz from redemption alone. And I wanted to literally speak about Boaz the man and Boaz the husband, as against Boaz, a type of Jesus that brought redemption. Yes, that was what happened there, but we also saw that he was willing to be an example of a husband that would not take advantage of a young lady who was vulnerable that time. So Boaz didn't take advantage of her vulnerability. Instead, Boaz covered her and protected her, transformed her, brought her in as his wife. These are the reasons why I decided to go with Boaz. And you know, of course, you can marry Boaz to Joseph, right?
Yes. We talked about that earlier on, where I said there's a lot of similarities between the story of Boaz and Joseph,
Yes,
because these were men that protected their women. They literally gave their lives for their women, you know, to preserve them, to keep them, to honor them.
Honor them.
Honor them.
Yes.
Because we live in a climate where we're not saying that, you know, but there's so much, you know, in that there's so much false narratives and disparities
Absolutely,
between
ma'am.
the male and the female
And the
gender.
female,
And it
yeah.
sometimes feels like there is some competition somewhere
Yeah.
where it is this gender versus this
That
gender.
gender,
But
yeah.
it is not.
It is not.
We were coined from your loins.
Yes.
So we're all supposed to
You
protect.
can say that again. You were coined from my loins. That's it. From my rib.
Yes, from
You
your
know?
rib.
And so I'm supposed to unveil you.
exactly.
I'm supposed to
Protect
protect
me.
you.
Yes.
I'm supposed to allow you find expression.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, there's a sad story. Let me just quickly put it out there. A lady who was working and couldn't tell her husband how much she was earning. All right, that's one. Number 2, every time she wanted to add more value to herself, the man says, I'm an accountant, you're an accountant, I don't have a professional accounting certifications, so you're going to remain this way. Now, that's not a man willing to unveil a woman. All right? He's a man that is caging a woman. And there is nowhere in the Bible, there's nowhere in the Bible where the scriptures say we should cage a woman. Instead, we are supposed to unveil a woman.
But what you just said now just takes me back to the point we raised earlier on.
Okay.
On forgiveness.
Yes.
Because if you do not forgive yourself, forgiveness comes from a place of love.
Absolutely.
And you have to love yourself
Yes.
to be able to forgive yourself.
Absolutely.
And once you have experienced that resurgence or that freedom,
Yeah.
then you're able to just allow people express themselves
Yes,
in,
ma'am.
you know, whichever way they would love to.
Yes.
This is quite an insightful book, Navigating the Journey Towards Redemption and Finding God's Purpose for a Blissful Marriage. I
Thank
think
you.
it's a must read
Yep. I
for
think so
every
too.
man.
Yeah.
And even women as well, because there's so much to learn from. Yeah, because there's nothing wrong with the woman reading it and also, you know, teaching the man.
Yeah.
Because I feel like marriage is an institution where both
It's
partners are meant to learn from one
Everyone.
another.
I mean, I'm married for
Right.
15 to 16 years now.
Wow.
And maybe I have just my BSc and 1 or 2 certifications. My wife is a chartered accountant. My wife has masters in finance. My wife is a chartered banker. My wife is a professional. Now, if I am not secured, I will be threatened
By that.
by that. But hey, she makes the money, she gets the car, I drive the car.
Fantastic.
There's nothing bad there.
This
That's
is-
because I'm secured.
This is quite an insightful conversation. It's a beautiful read, The Field of Brass. Thank you so much, Austin,
Thank
for
you.
sharing your
Thank
story
you.
with the world.
Thank you for having me.
I think you at home watching, go get this book, The Field of Brass. And that's it on our book chats conversation for now. As always, you know that we wrap up the show with a performance, and we have Pethwell. She's standing by and she will be signing us out in a bit. Pethwell, are you ready for us? Let's take it away.
Gentleman, I don't really understand why you keep holding me down. It's been years and I've been fighting now, trying hard to get it now, but you're refusing to bow. Yeah, I know you're to preach right, but reading my head cry. Some days we love, some days we fight, for better this right life. No matter what the world has shown me, I wanna be free. I pray for freedom, 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 freedom. I pray for freedom, 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 freedom. I wanna be free. 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 They say you can only be a prisoner if you're just a criminal, but that doesn't seem to be real. 'Cause I wanna fly, but I'm